Welcome back, listeners, to How Good Was It? And in particular, it is Roadhouse Week. Not day, not hour, but week. Yes, we have taken it upon ourselves to not only review the first one, which should be out as we speak.
Yes.
And hopefully you, our listeners, have enjoyed that one. But this is also a review within the same week of the new offering of Roadhouse. But first, let us introduce that masterful crew. What is up, Scott?
Hey, what's going on, Jid?
And hello to you, Dana. Welcome back. Not wake 'em back, but welcome.
Welcome back. It's all good, buddy. I had a question. So it's Roadhouse Week, but after watching the new one, do we mean
Oh
like
boy.
WEAK week? Because probably appropriate.
I think out of the three of us, Dana watched this new offering of Roadhouse first, right? So it's
Oh
been
yeah,
a
I
few
think
days
so.
at least since you've watched it, Dana. So he's been holding that
Marinating.
remark in since he's watched it. So kudos to you, man, for having
Hey, I
that
watched it
patience.
yesterday and I've already forgot most of the film, so I think Dana's gonna have a hard time. I don't know about holding it in. I'm sure he doesn't remember much.
So
Oh,
much anger. I don't know. We'll find out.
oh man. Roadhouse. Let's go. Let's go with this Roadhouse. This is the new offering of Roadhouse that just popped up its head on Amazon Prime, right? And so
Mhm.
thankfully we didn't have to pay for it. I hope none of you guys had to pay
No.
for it.
You know, I wonder the more if I see this film, because there is some bonkers, crazy shit going on in this movie
Yes.
that and some crazy performances that I think the more you watch it, the funnier it's gonna be. I think the more I watch Conor McGregor, I may rewatch this for his leprechaun act than anything else in this movie, because that is one of the most insane performances I've seen in any movie ever.
And let me tell you something. His performance was one of the better ones in the movie. That's the funny shit. That he was the most entertaining aspect of
It
this
was,
movie.
yeah. I'll give him the entertaining factor. I mean, he sounded like the Lucky Charms mascot. Yeah, on coke and steroids is what he sounded like.
Yes.
And I love how he would walk like bow-legged walk and
Yeah.
if you put Tom Hardy in this role, and I think he probably would play it very similar to Conor McGregor. Everyone would be praising him, like, "Oh my God, Tom Hardy did it again. He's playing another one of his insane characters." So, if it was a legit actor doing this, everyone would be like, "Oh man, he's playing it up. He's playing it campy. He's he gets what movie he's in." So, maybe he's acting. I don't know. I kind of think it is his act, is him, but
Well, let's go in. Let's go in,
okay,
man, because
yeah,
we've already started lambasting this movie, right? So it's obvious where this is
yeah.
going.
Well, we're talking about the cast. So I mean, we only talked about one cast member so far, but I mean there's a lot in the
Yeah, there is
cast
the
here.
lead cast member. Honestly, Conor McGregor probably has like 15-minute, 20-minute screen time in this movie,
Yeah,
maybe a little bit more because some of the fight scenes are long, but he's really
yeah.
not a big part of this movie.
Before we get into it, though, I have to remind our listeners, as usual, if you're watching this on YouTube, and listen, maybe you picked the wrong episode to start with if you're a first, if you're a first time watcher or listener, but we have a full length audio podcast. These are just snippets that we put on YouTube as promos. That'll hopefully entice you enough to look down below the video. In our description, man, I am so razzled by this film. I can't even think straight to do this. I can't even do a justifiable promo. Listen, hit the links below for the full length audio podcast for each and every episode. The whole library of How Good Was It is there. A lot of fun. We go crazy on these movies, very detailed, at length, and there's a lot of laughs and hijinks that go with it. So maybe this isn't the episode to start with. I don't know. We'll see. It being the
My
movie
bad.
it is, it might be the most entertaining. It might be the least. We'll see which way it goes. But do yourself a favor, catch the full length audio podcast. Hit the links below. Let's just get into Roadhouse 2024. This one stars Jake Gyllenhaal, who for me is a hell of an actor. He's had
He's
quite
all
a few.
right.
Well, again, for me, I specified.
he,
I was
I
very.
think Gyllenhaal does well when he's playing weirdos. When he's playing weirdos or maybe like the nice guy. I this is like the third action movie he's done, and I don't think any of them have worked. It doesn't seem like he gets into physical shape. He looks the part, but there's something on his face that's like a nice guy. I saw an interview with him the other day, and they were asking him if he ever gets confused, if people ever confuse him with other actors when they see him on the street, and he's like, yeah, people always think I'm Tobey Maguire, and I get that. They both
I
have
can see that.
that kind of like
Yeah.
the boyish, doofy look on their faces most of the time. And yeah, you don't want to see Tobey Maguire. Yeah, Tobey Maguire can play Spider-Man, but he can't play an MMA fighter. And yeah, Gyllenhaal, you can get into that shape, but there's something missing. There's something off.
Well, he stuck out like a sore thumb in this movie, and
Yeah.
there are several reasons why. Some of them not his fault, and we'll get into that as we get into the plot. But I think he was the odd man out in this movie more than anyone else.
Mhm.
Um, I've seen him, I mean, reach great heights as far as acting. Even back to the beginning of his career, you go back to things like Donnie Darko and shit,
Mhm.
and he was outstanding even as a young man. Um, and then he, throws curveballs like this, and does things like
I
this,
just think
and
he
it's like,
wants to
huh?
be an action star, and he just, I don't know. This is not working. Remember he did that. He did that boxing movie, Southpaw,
Yes,
and then he
yes.
also did he did one of the video games. It's not Aladdin, but he did like something like that where
Well,
he was like
Prince of Persia.
yeah, that's it. And like
Oh yeah, I
Prince of
never saw
Persia.
that was a resounding no. Nobody's seen any of these
that.
movies. No one cares about these movies. Gyllenhaal, don't do it. Do it. End of watch. Do play. Different characters. No one wants to see you in this role. Sorry, Jay.
He was good as a villain. I mean, like the Spider-Man connection makes me laugh because he was in like one of the newer Spider-Mans as
Yeah,
Mysterio,
and
and
that was
Yes.
fine too.
I
That's
think he
different
did
though.
good there. But yeah, exactly. So it's more of like he was an action person, but just different to a degree because he
Mm-hmm.
he was really good at what he does best. Like he excels at kind of like you said, being that quirky actor, and that's you know that role. I think that's probably describes kind of what you're saying. It's like I didn't necessarily want him to be super action hero who's going to sit and fight with them, but he's a master of illusions in that. He's this quirky guy. He's
Mm-hmm.
he's doing all these distractions. Like, okay, yeah, I can see that. That's pretty cool. But yeah, it is kind of hard to see him in this. But I mean, who else? I mean, Austin Post Malone. I
Post
mean,
Malone is
Okay, so
horribly cast in this
he gets a
movie.
credit.
that was the first red flag to me.
Oh my god.
The
Yeah.
movie starts out, yeah, this is a great opportunity. Thanks for bringing up Post Malone because that's how the movie starts. It's I guess there's a kind of an underground fight thing, almost like
Mm-hmm.
Fight Club, and right away we go into what is it, like a barn or some shit, and there's
Yeah.
people betting on these fighters, and there's one that's, I guess he's like the house fighter. He's like the kick-ass guy,
Yeah.
played by Post Malone of all people. Uh,
Horribly out of shape too. This
I
guy's got his shirt off, and
There was nothing imposing about him. Listen, I'm not familiar with his music. I'll be honest with you. I'm an old
yeah.
man. I don't listen. I'm not up on what people are listening to. I've heard the name a lot. I've seen interviews with him. I saw like a Tiny Desk concert with him, I think,
Mm-hmm.
or something. He's, yeah, talented young
Talented, yeah.
musician, for sure, and well spoken. And then you see him in this, and he's trying to like play a fighter with like some serious aggro problems, and it just didn't fit. It was just so
Not at all. Not
weird
even
to see
close
him
to
in this
fitting.
setting.
They could at
And
least had him put a shirt on to hide some of that. They could have put him in a muscle suit to make him
I was
look
gonna say
look
that,
bigger or
give,
something,
give him
man.
that long t-shirt that people wear at the beach with the
Yeah,
muscle shit, shit. Like
yeah.
come on, dude.